Hello everyone. This is Elena Bartash, your real estate investor. And today my podcast is, as usual, about private money lending and everything related to private money. And today, my guest is awesome lady, Stefanie Blackburn. She runs her own company. She does lending, different kind of lending, private money lending, different type lending for creative buyers, for fix and flippers, for developers. And I know Stephanie, I guess, on almost more than half year. And every time I speak with her, it's great time, great experience, lots of great information. So our goal today to give as much as possible value to our community. We both are under Pace More B sub 2 community. And I hope to bring lots of value and useful information to different types of real estate investors. So meet Stephanie. Hi,
Hi,
Stephanie.
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being today with me. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh my gosh, I'm awesome. I'm just awesome. Such a busy, so much on my table right now, but it's so cool.
Well,
How
I
is your
know
business so far?
I'm doing great, but I want to say congratulations to you because I know you and your partners just recently embarked on a really great adventure with your first co-living property. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Yes, it's awesome. And my goal to buy another two properties by end of the year. So far,
Oh,
my crazy operations manager does underwriting for us, and she found another property right now. So we are working right now on 3 or 4 deals. It's my gosh, it's it's not easy, but it's so cool.
wow. I'm so proud of you. That is great work.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you. How are you? How is your business?
We're doing good. We're looking at closing out the year really strong. We've got I don't know if I told you that we're doing a lot of lending of our capital, but we also have a great network of funding partners. And so we're putting,
Mhm.
those partners' money to work as well and, getting some great returns and helping out a lot of investors that are looking at getting into projects this year. So it's been exciting.
Beautiful. Progressing your business, right? New projects. Yeah, I love it.
Lots of new
I love it.
projects. We're expanding and
Yeah.
doing more transactional funding as well. So done a couple of those, couple of them today, and we've got a couple scheduled for the rest of the week. So
Awesome. It's awesome. It's end of the year. We all want to achieve all our goals, right? We still have time. Beautiful.
100%,
Beautiful.
100%. So, and we're always looking at, we're always looking at helping those achieve their goals as well. And I know you mentioned when we've talked, your team is buying creatively and then bringing
Yep.
in capital partners. So let me know what you want to talk about today, and we'll definitely dive into
Yep.
it.
Absolutely. I will ask you many questions related
Okay.
to creative deals. Yeah. First of all, Stephanie, I would love you to tell people who are watching us right now a little bit more about yourself, about your experience, about your company,
Okay.
whatever you want to tell us.
Okay. Um, so we'll start with I've been in and out of real estate for many years. I started back in the early 2000s doing some wholesaling, a lot of short sales, and buying creatively with either on lease options or subject to. And then, honestly, my husband and I sat out for a long time. After like 2008, 2009, we sat on the sidelines, but we jumped back in a couple years ago and we established CPI transactions where our main focus was on pairing investors like yourself with people that had capital that they wanted to invest. As we built up our capital, and it's kind of been what we've been focusing on. I'd say we're in the second year now, so we've been in business 2 years, and in that time, I need to get my latest count, but I think that we have put out there probably close to $7.5 million now in funding that we've done. And they've been a combination of different types of things. We've done a lot of fix and flip lending. So we've done a lot of gap where somebody has come in and they've got the first lien in place. Usually a hard money lender, or sometimes they will be buying subject to. And so we'll come in with gap funding to help them close that gap of what they need to come to the table. So we've been doing that. I mentioned we've been doing transactional funding as well. And as we start going into 2025, we're looking at also being able to provide kind of longer term stability where we may come in for like 12 months with annualized interest on that. So a variety, we keep looking at how can we improve and, how can we help more borrowers, but also help those that, really don't want to do the legwork to figure out how to put their money to work and start helping them do that and kind of guiding them through that process. So, I mean, there's a lot I can tell you about how we operate. So just, ask me questions and I'll go from there.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I love everything you just told about yourself. It's obviously you're in progress I would say, in your mindset, because I love that you're not just funding the most secure and the most traditional type of lending, like wholesalers or fix and flippers. I love that you were brave enough to step out of your zone of comfort and start lending creative deals. So for
Yes.
people who are in the beginning of their real estate investment journey, creative finance means subject to and seller finance deals, where real estate investors should involve private lenders to purchase such type of deals, and it means private lender will sit always on second lien position. And I know many lenders who are successful with first lien lending are barely switched to second lien. And per my understanding, these people losing opportunities. And I'm so proud of you, Stephanie, you and your husband, you realize it probably. Yeah. So what was motivated you to start thinking towards creative finance?
Well, I think for us, I mean, no matter what, even if it's a first lien, the numbers have to make sense. So, I mean, for us, if we can look at the numbers and see that, okay, if we come in with a second position, we are still safe. We're still, in a position where if something goes wrong, we can get our money or our capital partners' money back. So, I think that's the key. And I think that that's one thing too that every investor needs to look at is making sure that there's an exit strategy. And that exit strategy, God forbid it's foreclosure, but if that ends up being the case,
Yeah.
is there room to get that money back? So that was kind of our pivot. And honestly, the very first funds that we put together were gap funding. So the initial ones we did were second lien versus first lien. So something that we haven't shied away from. It's just that we have to be very careful when we underwrite it. And so, if we're looking at doing a second lien, we want to know, what does the first lien look like? How much are you how much is on that first lien? So if it's with a hard money lender, we always ask for the term sheet and we go through that and run our numbers based on that. If it's a subject to, we look at that underlying mortgage. We want to see those mortgage statements. We want to see, okay, there is enough equity in this, or there's a good enough payback plan. I mean, it depends on the exit strategy too. So, I mean, we try really hard to stay under 75%, of the value on combined first and second. But depending on the situation and depending on the borrower, we have gone up higher. So I wouldn't say, Elena, that each deal is cookie cutter. I mean, there's certain parameters on each of them, but I think each one is individual. And for us, it's not only just the numbers of the deal. We do look at the borrower. I mean, it's not as stringent as applying for a bank loan where you have to give up your firstborn and sign your life away. But
Yeah.
we do dive in. We dive in deep on, what is your past experience? How stable are you? I mean, I know that a lot of people say you can get started in real estate with no money, and I 100% agree with that. However, you need to be able to have the reserves in case something goes wrong. You need that stability. So we look at that. We look at how stable is the borrower. So, and I'm speaking from experience because part of why we sat out after 2008 is when things flipped overnight, we didn't have the reserves to weather the storm. And so we look at that in our lending criteria.
Mhm. Yeah, you mentioned probably the most common parts of deal that lenders usually look on. What else are what kind of what are the parameters? What are the terms are important for you? What you like to see in presentation, for example, in pitch
Okay.
deck? What kind of information you expect to see?
Well, the bare minimum that we always ask for. So when we're evaluating the numbers, we ask for the property address, we ask for the purchase price and
Mhm.
terms. If it's a creative deal, we want the terms. Um, we ask for any repairs. So we ask for the scope of work and the budget. We ask for what the after repair value will be on that property. We ask for minimum of 3 comps. So we want our borrower to tell us, what properties they think are good comps, and then we'll go validate that. I mean, we have disagreed before. We have said, no, those don't fit because there's a huge age difference, or your house is stick and these are brick. It kind of matters, or you're on one side of the highway and they're on another. And so those are key factors that we look at. We also look at if the exit strategy is a fix and flip. So we've done a couple deals where we've worked with our borrower that basically did a novation agreement. So it's kind of like buying subject to and then
Mhm.
splitting the profits. And, so we looked at how many days on market average. So that kind of factors into our
Mm.
plan too. So we look at all of these things. We look at as is value too. I mean, there are a lot of people that do funding that they will only lend, 70% of as is value. We're a little more lenient and we go more towards the ARV side. But we have to look at all factors. I mean, because we need to look at worst case scenario. How do we recover if something goes wrong? So
Mhm.
that's what we look at in terms of, numbers and pieces there. We have a deal analyzer that my husband slash business partner actually put together, which is kind of like our initial step when we get the numbers in. We run everything through there. And it's kind of like, does it work for us or does it not work for us? And if it works,
Mhm.
then we dive into the borrower. So then it's going to be, we will not lend to anyone unless they're buying in an LLC. So if somebody comes and is like, I'm going to buy in my personal name, nope, we won't do it. There's too much risk there. And if you're new to this, there's things like Dodd-Frank. There's a lot of risk to lending to somebody in their personal name. So have to have an LLC. We look at the operating.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And we look at the operating agreement because we have seen cases where um, there's additional people in the operating agreement. So we look at both what's filed online for their filing, their EIN, their operating agreement. We
Mhm.
ask for past HUDs. So we want to see, okay, have you done this before? Show us your track record. We had, I have to tell you, we have seen somebody that gave us like, I think he gave us like 4 past HUDs, and we started looking at them and we're like, you lost money on all of these deals because he had to come to the table for every single one that he sold. And we're like,
Oh,
no, this is
oh,
not a good fit.
oh.
And I felt bad, but it's like, we need a good track record. So we asked for the HUDs. Depending on the exit strategy, we'll ask for some financial information. So, I mean, if your exit strategy is to refinance, we definitely want to see that you've got a strong credit score, and just a good financial statement. Um, Typically, if somebody's exit strategy is a refinance, they have real estate that they already own. So we ask for the schedule of real estate owned. So we look at what they're holding. So we look at those things. Trying to think, any bio that they have. So when you mentioned pitch deck, so if they have something put together that like tells the story of who they are, that is perfect. I mean, we love that. But sometimes they don't have that. But we do ask for a bio. References, if they have references, that's always a plus.
What
And
kind
then
of references, Stephanie? What kind of references? From whom?
typically we like to see past private money lenders, but they don't always have that. Just because, sometimes they don't want their other private money lenders to know that they're going to somebody else or various things. But I mean, we try to get that. I have to be honest with you, we don't get a lot of our investors that have like, oh, here's all my references. We get quite a few of past ones, but we can dig too. I mean, we can go look at past properties they've flipped, see them online, see the work, things like that. We also do a deep dive, like social media and Google dive. So we'll go kind of stalk. We'll go stalk our borrower to see, what kind of character are you showing up as online, and then we've used tool.
Oh,
Oh, it
wow. So you
helps. I
even
mean,
execute human psychology and
we try.
to
I mean,
understand. Oh, it's so super.
we really try. I mean, and obviously that doesn't always paint the picture, but you can find things. So we do that. We've also used a tool called Ben Verified that does okay, just kind of high level information on them. So we'll use that. And then we always do a Zoom meet and greet with our potential borrower because we want to see them face to face. Sometimes you can pick up, you know, is it a good fit? Is it not? So those are that's kind of the process that we go through when we're looking at lending on something. And and as I mentioned, we'll either fund it internally if we have the funds, and if not, what we'll do is we'll put everything together, we'll prepare it, we'll say it's passed our process, and then we'll share it with our funding partner network. So we'll help somebody else out there put their money to work.
Yes, awesome, awesome. What about you? You mentioned you do such a deep due diligence. You dive in people experience. What about newbies? If newbie will come to you, how you work with newbies, with new investors?
Newbies,
Yeah.
that's really tough one because I hate turning them away. However, we've kind of taken the stance that we will not work with somebody that's brand new. But there's another option we have. So we have a lot of people that have done deals before and have experience, and they sometimes are working in those same markets. So what we suggest to those people is, let's start building your credibility folder so we have it, and let's pair you with this person that's in your market and have you do a joint venture so that you can use their experience to give you more credibility and have them there as a resource to help you on on the project. And that's helped. We have one investor that we've done that with. We built his file. He went and found a credibility partner that JV'd with him, and then we did his first deal with him. So
Yeah,
that is
this is a
definitely
great.
something there. Yeah, and it's
This is
tough.
a great
But
suggestion. Yeah.
it's tough though because it's like you got to get started somewhere, and it's hard to get started when you don't have that experience. But there's a lot of great investors out there that are more than happy to share their experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would like to come back a little bit to creative deals because I don't do lending yet, but I
Okay.
realize it should. There are some difference between a relationship with brokers like fix and flippers, for example, or wholesalers, right, who always need first lien, who is very, so their situation pretty much really predictable and really clear. But you really need to be brave and really not knowledgeable to start investing in creative deals because second lien, because many parts of this game. So is there any difference how you build relationship with these people? Like me, for example, we come to you with our pitch decks. We found great subject to deal, and we need
Yep.
second lien position. So what is the difference between relationship with first lien borrowers and second lien borrowers?
Honestly, I think it's very similar, because I think we're going to go through the same thing. We're going to look at your credibility. We're going to make sure you're a good, good person that we feel comfortable would manage the project well, and that you have the integrity to pay back the funds. I mean, it's so easy for some investors to get in over their head. So we really look at that and ask a lot of questions. And on the numbers, it's kind of the same thing. Instead of looking at a hard money term sheet, we're going to look at that mortgage statement. If it's, subject to, or if it's an owner finance, what are you buying it for? Do you have some spread there? What's your payment? Are you going to be handle this? And from there we structure. And then also, on buying subject to, what's your exit strategy to pay back that second lien?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay. Absolutely. Feel free.
But that's a very important thing. But I mean, a lot of it is character. And I'm sure you're finding this in everything you're doing. It's like, when you're working with somebody that, or you can feel a good character with somebody most of the time. And then you
Mm-hmm.
just have to validate it.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because second lien means you should really be friends with your borrower, right?
Right.
You
Yes.
need to understand personality. It's even more important than uh, if it's first lien story. Second lien is more personal. And I would like even to go back even more. So how um, investors, especially creative investors, they treat lenders like people from the Mars. And I know a lot of, yeah, it's true. I remember myself when I started reaching out to lenders. For me, you guys were all like from different planet. I didn't know how to speak with you. I didn't know how to reach out to you. So uh, it was funny. What would you suggest to these people? How these people should start conversation with private lender?
That's a great question. And we actually have a lot of people doing that with us currently, which is great. It's nice sometimes when we can establish, a relationship before you have a deal. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you're somebody that's looking, okay, I know I need money, um, put together something that shows you in your best light. Okay, this is my experience. This is what I've done. This is what my business plan is. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at building a relationship with somebody that can help me grow my business. Um, I have I actually have somebody I'm meeting with tomorrow. That's what he's doing. He's doing things, but he doesn't have a current project yet. So we're meeting to build that relationship. And he approached us and he basically said, "This is who I am. These are my goals for 2025, and I'm looking for this. And I said, let's get on a Zoom call." And so from
Mm.
there, we'll have a conversation. I'll learn more about him and kind of what direction he's going in, and get a feel for, okay, I know this person is going to be buying, subject to, so he gives in low down. He needs the rehab funds, then he'll sell and rinse and repeat. And so
Mhm.
my goal is to understand their business model. And from him, as you mentioned, what do I tell new investors? One, put together as much information as you can to show who you are and why
Mhm.
somebody should give you money. I mean, that's the key. You've got to present your case. You need to be organized, and you need to understand, okay, this is what I can do. This is what I have done. This is my experience. And also be prepared to share how you would handle a bad situation. Because sometimes we'll ask that. We're like, well, what happens if you run out of money? How are you going to cover the shortfall? What happens if you expect to sell in 60 days and it takes 120 days? How will you handle that? Um,
Mhm.
if something goes wrong, how do you plan on communicating? Because that is key. Because things do go wrong. And we've had a couple borrowers that have been later than they should be on their projects. However, communication is key. And so we work together. It's like, okay, let's look at this. What other options do you have to, get the funds paid back? Because we want to do repeat business. And so um, communication, putting themselves in the best light forward and really being able to put a package together to show people this is who I am and what I'm doing.
Yeah, I I so much agree with you, Stephanie, about communication. Let's dive a little bit deeper in communication. So, what means good communication to you? What do you expect from borrower?
Perfect. So when we fund a project, either with our friends or our funding partners, we set up a Google Drive, and our expectation is that we will get regular updates. And when I say regular updates, I like them like every other week. Sometimes they're a little bit longer, but I would prefer, yeah, every other week, at least every 2 weeks. And we want to see photos. We want to see photos and we want to say, okay, we've completed um, the cleanup, we've completed, HVAC, all the things that they've
Hmm.
completed. And next on the agenda is this. So, those regular email updates, text updates are great too. But uploading the photos and just, not ghosting. Unfortunately, so I've heard so many people have cases where their borrowers are not communicating, and it's a challenge. And
Hmm.
it has happened to us. We're not immune. We've had one that his communication was horrible, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I need a payoff. I'm ready to close out. We're like, okay, that's great, but we probably won't lend to you in the future because we expect this level of communication. So,
Hmm.
um, and everyone's different on their styles of communication. I have one borrower that they text us a lot, which is great. Will text often, but I also want those photos. I want those photos and that update so that I can put it in the Google Drive. So then I can turn around and share that with other people that are in that project.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So communication is not only to be polite. Communication is to be consistent and
Yes,
to
yes.
and to take own words, because yeah, and lenders could be different. Some lenders like to have conversation once in a month and it's enough for
Right,
them. Some
right,
lenders wants to have more often communication, once a week, every day.
right. And
Yep.
that's a challenge. I mean, there's a level. I mean, I don't want to hound our borrowers, daily. "Oh, what did you do today? What's tomorrow?" Because I think that's overkill, and I don't think it allows them to get their job done.
Hmm.
But I do feel that open communication is very important and regular
Yeah,
communication.
great. Absolutely, for everyone.
It
For
is, and
everyone.
it helps too because, I mean, lending can be a little scary, and when you put your money out there, I know a lot of people with first time, they're like, "Oh my gosh, did I make the right decision in doing this? Am I gonna get my money back?" And so when that communication loop is there, it really helps things.
Hmm. I know many people are struggling with follow up. So it's
Mhm.
so the same. I had the same situation in the beginning when I started reaching out to lenders. So okay, we made first Zoom. We had great communication. We shared phone numbers. What next? I have people really, my friends, who are struggling. So what
It
would you suggest? How it looks like?
that that's a great question, and total transparency, we just actually brought on a virtual assistant into our business this week. So I'm super excited about it because we we try to stay on top of all of our communication back. But I'm not going to lie, there's been a few times that we have not done our part as well as I would like to getting back to prospective borrowers. And so I'm trying to fix that because it is important. I think I like the personal touch, but I think a little bit of automation is important. And so, we use a CRM, which is helpful. And I'm looking at making sure that our CRM is really optimized to handle, inquiries coming in. So, because I don't want any borrower to feel like, well, gosh, they just kind of like ignored me, and I feel bad because I know there's probably been a few in the last couple weeks that may feel that way, and that's not how we want to run our business. I mean, we really want to be a partner with both our borrowers and those that trust us to help them place their money.
Hmm. Yeah, but Stephanie, I mean actually follow up for borrowers. How to be, how not to be annoying, how to be enough polite, but what we should do as potential your borrowers to follow up with you after first Zoom.
That's a very good question. In a perfect world, in our process, typically, once we get all your data and we've analyzed it, we've had the Zoom. Um, if you have a deal ready to go, typically 2 to 3 days, we'll be like, okay, this has passed. We send an email that states it's passed and that we'll move to the next step. There have been times that it's taken a little bit longer to get through that. And honestly, just a polite, just checking in to see if you need any more information. I think that's
Mm,
the key because a lot of times the key is the funding partner, like, CPI transactions, we may need a little more information. We may need to see some more comps. We may need, maybe we're
mm,
waiting for a CMA from your realtor, maybe you're getting an appraisal. And so just a quick polite follow-up. Um, but I know a lot of times our borrowers are in a situation where I need an answer now because I'm supposed to close like the middle of next week and I don't know if I have my money. And so just understand that everyone is busy and just, a polite little email or text and say, hey, just checking in. Is there any more information that
mhm.
you need from me? I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
good. And
yeah. In this situation, I would really give these people a suggestion. So we don't have to stop. We cannot get stuck with one potential partners. Really, if we need funds, we have to move by the end of the story. And sometimes we can get even two lenders for one deal, even creative deals. Yep.
correct. And you have a good point there. And you know what, for us, it's like if you presented us a deal and then you're like, gosh, you know what, they haven't gotten back to me as quickly as I'd like. We know you need money. We know that that's the case, that you're looking desperately for money for your project. And so we're not going to hold you captive. Once we get to the point of saying, yes, we'll go look for money and this is kind of what it is, we expect that we're going to find that money for you and
Mhm.
deploy it. But I hear what you're saying, and when you mention more than one lender, we have from our network, we've taken up to 4 funding partners before and put them in
Mm,
a deal. And so, we don't really wanna do more than 4, but we have taken
mhm,
4 people. So say we needed $100,000 for somebody, and so we had 4 people that gave
mhm.
$25,000, and we got the deal done for our borrower that way. So it definitely can happen.
Mm, yeah, interesting. But I mean, if someone doesn't have enough time or doesn't have enough confidence working with one lender, yeah, we always have to knock in several doors. We don't have to
Right.
stop because you're right. Because yes, it's clear to me no one lender can give you any guarantees, and in the same
Right.
time, it's time consuming, correct? And for us, as we all have to understand, so investor should work with many lenders, and lender has to need to have time to take decision.
I think the key there is time. I mean, honestly, we would love like all our borrowers to be so happy that, they don't want to work with anybody else, that they like our process and the hand holding and stuff. But we understand too, because we're not always going to have the capital available to deploy for them.
Hmm.
We're definitely going to try to, and that's our goal. That's a big focus for us for 2025 is raising more capital so that we can do that. Um,
Good.
but but we understand. I mean, it's one of those things, but I definitely I it makes me sad when one of our borrowers was like, "Oh, I went with so and so because you didn't respond fast enough." And I don't want to be in that position. I want to
Mm,
make sure that we can be quick, but we need enough time too. And for us, we have a great transaction coordination team that we use, and you know they will do rush, but I hate doing that to them. So we typically, say we need a day or two to vet, and then we need, maybe a day or two to to make sure that we have the right funding source for you. And then the documents. So, and it depends on, have you opened title yet? So like as an investor, a lot of times when a borrower comes to us, they already have open title. And so title work is already in progress, but sometimes it's not. And then we wait for the title company to do what they need to do.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of factors that cause changes in the timelines to get things done.
Yeah, but for creative buyers, people who buy subject to seller finance mortgage method, first we need funds. We
Mhm.
need to understand we found lender, and only after we go to escrow, starting work to work with title company. So lends, funds first.
Yeah.
It's
It,
maybe differently.
and that's why I think it is. I mean, as much as I can, I like to build that relationship with the borrower before they need money. Just because
Yeah.
then it's like, I have your credibility kit. Okay, great. Here's your project. Let's review it. Okay, it's good to go. So, um, and that's why it's nice because we have a lot of repeat borrowers that we work with,
Mhm.
Elena. So it's like, okay, yeah, we got your credibility kit. Everything's up to date. Let's put your new project out for funding. So
Mhm.
it's a good
Yeah,
thing.
cool. Stephanie, do you have your husband, do you guys have any plans to extend your business with creative buyers with second lien position for the next year, for example?
I think we'll continue to look at it because we're also doing some acquisition in one of our other companies. And so for us,
Mhm.
we will probably tap our network of funding partners for funding for our acquisitions.
Mhm.
And honestly, I would prefer to buy owner finance or subject to than going through a bank. So yes, I mean, that is definitely a piece of our business that we're going to continue to cultivate so that we can grow. And there's so many great investors like yourself and others that are finding these amazing deals out there that are creative. And, when you do that too, I think a lot of people miss the fact that you're helping that seller too, because that
Absolutely.
seller, yeah, I mean, there's so many different reasons they're in that position where that they're open to that creative deal. And so it's a win-win for everybody. And we're very open and we love creating win-win solutions for everyone. So yes, we will continue to expand that as well as, doing more transactional. We've done a lot of creative things, Eleanor, with transactional and the Morby method that have
Mhm.
helped out a lot of our borrowers. And we love doing those. So definitely open to that.
Mm. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, I'm so love your the fact you develop your lenders perspective. You step into new opportunities. It's so awesome.
We're
It's great.
trying. It's been good. This has been a good journey. We definitely love the space and want to continue to grow and work with others to do the same.
Mhm. Beautiful, beautiful. What would you suggest for new investors who still has this feeling of scarcity to start reaching out to lenders? So, what is the most important we should understand about lenders and about your business, guys?
Um, Everyone's people. I mean, even though you may be a borrower and you're approaching a lender, we all wake up the same way every morning, and it's about relationships. Build those relationships because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So
Mhm.
find a way to, approach that prospective money partner and show them who you are. Build that relationship. Maybe build that relationship before you need the funds.
Absolutely agree with you. Thank you, Stephanie. And another tricky question. What is your opinion about social media? What, do you
S-
think it helps us to be
It
visible,
it
to build trust?
It 100% does. And I hate to admit this, I struggle. I go in phases where I'm really great at it, and then phases where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't feel like posting. But it is something that we're improving on. I actually am doing our content plan for next year on,
Mm.
what are we going to start sharing both from our business perspective, from the business brand and then personally, because it is important. And I've had a lot of people that have reached out to me on wanting to be a funding partner, and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
I decided I want to work with you because I saw you connected with this person, and I saw this interview you did with this person, or I saw
Hmm.
this post and
Oh
I saw
wow.
this picture of you with this
Oh
person. And
wow.
I'm like, okay, that tells me yes, social media is very important. And so what you're doing with this podcast has been great because you have had some really good guests on, and you're consistent,
Thank
and
you.
you're working on building a name and a brand for yourself. And so I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. From bottom of my heart, really nice words. Yeah, so appreciate it. And I appreciate you to be here today because really so many new investors, they feel scary. They don't want to reach out to lenders. They feel so many obstacles, mindset obstacles. Yeah, you guys are just humans.
100%. I mean, yeah, and we have good days and we have bad days, just like you.
Yep,
So, but
yep,
you're right. I mean, and building those relationships, like you said, is just key. Reach out. Feel free to reach out and
yes.
be patient. Be patient if you don't get a response back right away.
Yes, because everyone needs lenders. And anyway, we should, as investors, we should realize we bring opportunities for lenders. We are
Yeah.
not coming to you, your messenger, right, Stephanie, just to beg you for something or to
Hmm.
ask you for something. No, we are partners. We
100%.
spend days and hours, sometimes weeks, months finding this opportunity, underwriting, hiring staff, hiring our team, train them to help us to find good deals. We contact so many contractors to send them to the property to understand is this house is in good condition, how much it will cost for us to do renovation. So, for
Yep.
example, I'm remand but split, and for us it's critical important to send contractor and to understand how much it will cost for us to build couple walls and to remove deck maybe or something. Yeah, it's hard. It's not
Yep.
easy job. And lenders, you guys realize it. And yeah, if you see good deal, it means someone done hard job right behind these papers.
100%. I mean, and like you said, we need each other. I mean, borrowers
Okay.
need lenders and lenders need borrowers. And then,
Yeah.
from that, we all win and we all profit.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And with time, deal by deal, day by day, Zoom by Zoom, we will build relationships, solid friendship, solid trust, solid credibility, right? And
100%.
for example, yeah, I would love to give small advice to people who just started their journey as a borrower, like investor. If you speak with a potential lender and you see you guys understand each other, you can even laughing together, right? You can discuss something silly. Don't
Yep.
feel hesitate. In the end of first Zoom, ask lender about second Zoom.
Hmm.
Don't feel you ask something over. No, you don't. You really would love to build relationship. So ask, okay, do you mind to meet me in 2 3 weeks? Let's share our wins. Let's share what's going on in our businesses. Let's talk about dogs, about cats. Yesterday, for example, I spent 1 hour on conversation with Lander. We were talking about cats. Why not? Why not?
No, I'm right there with you. I had somebody send me a picture of his dog before because he told me he got a new puppy. I was like, well, I want to see. And
Hmm.
so,
Hmm.
yeah, no, I agree with you. It's like build those relationships. I mean, learn something personal about the person that you're approaching. I mean, how long have they been married? Do they have kids? Do they have grandkids? What kind of pets? Just connect personally as well as business on the business level because it's important.
Yes, very, very important to understand yet what this person lives with. I mean,
Mhm.
inside, right? What are the values? What are the core values?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, because that's important to me. I mean, knowing, I don't know if you know this, but I've been married a long time. In fact, it'll be 31 years in January. And so that's kind of an important thing for me. I want to know. It's like, okay, are you married? Do you work with your spouse in the business, or are you single and by yourself? And it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not going to judge you differently, but it's kind of a connection point. So
Yeah, I agree. So humans first, right? Yeah, I hear you. You're very number person. It's absolutely great for lender. You need to calculate, but you see, everything comes to personal
yeah,
level anyway.
it
Yeah.
does.
So
It
both
does.
parts important. Yeah, very important. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys,
you.
who are here today with us. We probably have a couple minutes left. If anyone has any questions to Stephanie, please reach out to her in the chat. Anyway, I'm going to put Stephanie's Facebook link under this video, and this video will be saved on my YouTube channel. Please feel free to reach out to Stephanie. She will be happy to help you. You see, she is normal human. She is open. She is helpful.
I
So please
appreciate
reach
that.
out. Thank you so much,
So
Stephanie. So maybe couple nuggets in conclusion. What would you suggest to people who want to reach out to you?
First off, be patient. If you message me and I don't get back with you right away, we do have a website, cpitransactions.com, and you can message our team there. It's, myself, my husband's my business partner. And then, like I said, we just brought on a virtual assistant that is helping us. So, feel free to reach out there. We do have a Facebook page as well under CPI Transactions. So feel free to follow us there. And, but yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. I love connecting with people. My calendar's a little crazy right now, but I'm fixing that so that I've got some slots for what I call connection calls so I can get to know more people.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you for being today with me as my guest.
Thank you.
It was great, and all information you shared. I hope it will be helpful. I not hope. I know it will be helpful for many people.
Great. Well, I appreciate your time so much today. And again, I am so proud of the things that you have accomplished since we first met. I think it's amazing.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Because people in our community and all the support we give each other, this is a
Mhm.
brilliant. Without people, we cannot grow. People,
100%.
thank you so much. Yes, I wish you great luck in everything, in your business, in family. I know your daughter is moving right now. Did you move already?
So her move has been pushed back. So we'll see. We'll see what part of me is sad for her, but part of me not because that means she's here longer. So that's a good thing.
Uh, yeah. You're still mommy, but she's adult, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, she's in her 20s. So, but yeah, she's still my baby.
Okay, yeah. He knows what to do. Yeah, he will manage the situation with your daughter and with your everything, with your business, with
100%.
personal stuff. Yeah. Thank
100%.
you so much, Stephanie. I'm happy you've been today with me, and thank you so much, people watching us. Yep. Bye bye, Stephanie. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you so much, people, for being today with us, for watching my podcast. My really wish all the time, every time I think who I can invite to be my guest, is to bring value as much as possible, to help people to understand how private money world works, because this is the main topic about for my podcast. What is the mentality, what is the mindset of the lenders, what is important for them. You can watch different podcasts I have already on my page. I even had lender who've done underwriting in front of camera. So different people share different experience. Yeah. And everything you see in the end of the day, we understand we all are humans. First, we need to respect each other to build normal humans relationship and to improve our professional level. So this is everything about humans first. Again, thank you so much for being today with me. I'm a real estate investor. I buy properties. Now we are focused on Texas. I recently purchased property in Dallas area. It's beautiful, beautiful house. So guys, if you are a lender, for example, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to build new relationship with people and for future business and for just human, as a human to human. Melinda, thank you so much. Yeah, I see your comment. Thank you so much for being today my audience. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.